Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So today I'm going to be reacting to this Evercade VS, the new console from Blaze that's coming out in November. So they recently put out a trailer and it caught my attention. Now, just a bit of history with the Evercade. The Evercade came out, I believe, last year as a handheld system. And if you don't know what it is, it's basically a little handheld that you can play retro games on cartridges legally. So they put out 20 collections so far, ranging from Atari to Atari Lynx, Namco, Pico. They put out Xeno Crisis and Tanglewood on one cartridge. They put out an Indie Heroes collection, which looks really cool. So it's a really interesting little system and a nice one for collectors because we can put the cartridges on our shelves and all numbered as well. So you do feel like you need to buy them all. But yeah, when it came out, I wasn't that interested. I've never been a handheld guy really. I've owned handhelds in the past and enjoyed them, like the Game Boy and the PSP were fantastic. And to some degree the 3DS, but I've never really gotten into handhelds. I've always been a console guy. And I just prefer to have a console and a big TV and just sit back with my controller, you know, and just play my games. So it never really caught on with me and I just didn't take any notice of it. And then a few weeks ago, they put out a press release, Blaze, saying they're going to do a trailer for this new system, this new thing called the Evercade VS. No one knew what it actually was. I assumed it was a console immediately because it was Evercade VS. I thought maybe that's video system. But as it happens, it could be that it's versus now, as a lot of people are saying, because it is a multiplayer system. Now, I thought, okay, I'll have a look at this when it comes out and see what I think. So the trailer comes out, I watched the trailer, and I thought, yeah, it's alright. It didn't blow me away. I thought, I like the colour scheme, the red and white's really cool. The console looks fine, you know, not blowing me away at all. It's interesting, and I like the collections, but I wasn't that blown away straight away because I really, as I say, I'm not a handheld guy first of all, so I've never looked into Evercade, so I didn't have a lot to go on other than what the console looked like. So I didn't know too much about pricing and what the games on the collections were like. So I watched that and I thought, okay, fair enough, that's great. And after that, OUBP over in Canada, a good friend of mine, he's a really great, a really big fan of Evercade and a big supporter of Blaze. So he had a guy called Ryan from Blaze on. They did a stream together. It was really, really good stream to watch that. I really enjoyed that, so I'd recommend that, guys. And also I watched an arcade channel where they had two other representatives of Blaze on. They were talking about it as well. And the one thing that came out of it was that they're doing arcade games next. And so in the video, in the trailer, you see the row of games like all in red with the red spines, and then there's a purple one on the end. And that's the beginning of their arcade collections. So they're going to be doing legally ownable cartridges. They're going to be doing, they're going to be doing cartridges with legally owned ROMs. Where they do the licensing deal with the companies, which is the one thing that's really cool about all of this, that you can own your games legally. And especially the arcade ones, I think it's fantastic. Now it's going to be interesting to see what they actually do with that, what deals they've made and what games are going to come and what collections. I'm fascinated to find out. They've got 4 more they're going to announce this month apparently, so hopefully some of those, if not all of them, will be arcade games. But yeah, that really caught my attention straight away and I thought, you know what, I'd love that because MAME's a pain in the arse. I don't have any real way of playing MAME anymore. I mean, I've got my PC, but it's not the same. So yeah, I thought that was a great idea. So I thought, well, okay, I'm gonna have a look into this and find out more about it. So I delved into it a bit, found out that the machine itself is gonna be £90 starting. And then I assume they're gonna do game bundles because that's what they've done with the handheld version. So great price straight away, cheap, that's good. And then I looked at the games and I looked on Amazon, I looked on Argus, and the game collections are anything from like £15 to £18. Some even are £12 on Argus, so great. Now some of them are out of print, so you have to hunt around, but even when I went on eBay, people weren't overcharging and being silly, they were actually charging fair prices for brand new copies, so I was quite impressed with that. And I looked at the collections that they have. So they've got Atari collection 1 and 2, they've got Atari Lynx collection 1 and 2, they've got Namco collection, Pico collection, Xeno Crisis and Tanglewood was a good one for me because I want to play Xeno Crisis. And to buy a Mega Drive and buy a copy of that game is a lot more than what it's going to cost me to play it on Evercade, which I think it was like £15 or £18 on Amazon. So, you know, compared to buying a Mega Drive and then buying the game, it's a lot of money saved. So that's really cool. And I really like the Indie Heroes as well. It looks really good. So straight away I thought, yeah, I'm really in on this. This looks really cool. So I just wanted to talk about the actual machine itself. So all I know so far from seeing on the trailer, it's a small compact design. It's got some nice rounded edges as well. It's not just a box, which was cool. The red and white, you either like it or you don't. I personally think it looks really nice. Red's my favourite colour anyway, so easily swayed. It's got 4 controller ports on the front, USB. Now, they haven't said, I haven't seen anyone talk about how long the cable is for the controller, so I hope to God it's about 10 foot or something, so we've got a decent amount of distance because they are wired controllers. Apparently they are looking into the future. They're going to try and do wireless if they can afford to do it budgetary wise, and if it works out, which is fine. But apparently you can, if you've got wireless controllers like the 8-bit DO controllers, you can plug the dongle in the front and just play with your wireless controller. So that's not a problem. But you know, I think considering it's £90, you can't really argue about having physical, you know, actual controllers, not wireless controllers, having wired controllers. That's what I'm trying to say. Being connected doesn't really bother me as long as the cable's long and it's not a Famicom situation where you're sitting right next to your TV, because that would suck. It's got a little flap on the front. You lift the flap up and you can put 2 cartridges in the machine. Now, some people think this is dumb. Some people like me think it's really cool. It depends on how you see this. Because the idea is that you put 2 cartridges in, that way you haven't got to keep getting up and swapping your carts. So you have access to more games and you can mix and match. So you could have like Atari Collection 1 and Atari Collection 2 both in there. You've got the entire Atari Collection. Or you could go, you know what, I fancy a bit of Atari Collection 1, I'm going to play some games on there, play a bit of Asteroids or something. But then I fancy playing Xeno Crisis, so you stick Xeno Crisis and Tanglewood in there, and you've got access to everything without having to keep getting up and changing anything. Now a lot of people are saying, well, that's just lazy, get off your ass, which I totally understand and respect, and I would normally probably say the same thing about a lot of things nowadays, because you know, society is being geared towards being lazy and sitting on your ass and doing nothing, and everything's done for you, which is fair enough. But I like the idea. I think it's cool and it's innovative and different, because I've never seen a system with 2 cartridge slots. So just for that, it's really funky. Yeah, it's really cool. It's got Wi-Fi as well for updates apparently. One thing I am interested the most of all though is when you lift the flap up, underneath the flap there's a red line, and in the trailer it looks as though it lights up like kit. So I hope to God it lights up and it's not just a painted line. I mean, I don't know, because it's 90 quid system. Maybe it's too expensive to put the light in there. I don't see why it would be, but maybe it would be. So that'd be really cool. So I think I like the console design. I like it. It looks really small and compact. It's got a really nice colour scheme to it. I think the double cartridge design is brilliant. I think the controllers look really nice. Apparently everybody I've watched on YouTube who owns the handheld version has said that the D-pad is really good, so that's a bonus. The interesting thing is as well, it's got 4 face buttons and 4 shoulder buttons. And initially I was like, why the hell has it got 4 shoulder buttons? But they are doing PlayStation 1 emulation as well, so they have some PlayStation 1 games. I believe, I can't remember which collection it is, but I'm pretty certain they've done a PlayStation 1 game already. And in an upcoming collection that's just been announced, which I'll talk about in another video, they have put a PlayStation 1 game on there, which is pretty cool that they can do that. It's amazing that PlayStation 1 emulation is that good, actually. It surprises me. But overall, I'm quite impressed. I'm going to buy one anyway. I mean, the pre-orders are on the 28th of May, and I think it's well worth 90 quid, isn't it, really? Just for a punt, just to have legally owned games, really, legally owned retro ROMs, should I say. And if we get the arcades, and the arcades are really cool, and they announced those, I'm impressed. That's going to be even better. The only downside is the fact that they're all numbered. So it's like, it's really hard as a collector, as I'm sure you know, to say to yourself, well, I'm just going to buy A, B and C. I'm not going to buy every collection, because they're cheap and they're numbered, so it's like kind of tempted. I mean, I've been through the collections and I can find at least 2 games on most of the collections that I want to play. So even if there's games that I don't want to play, there's always going to be 1 or 2 that I really, really want to play. And they have a really cool Jalico collection as well. You can play Rival Turf and Brawl Brothers. Unfortunately, Brawl Brothers is the shitty American version where you get stuck in the sewer. But I found out that apparently there's a code you can tap in at the beginning, and that way you can open up the Japanese version, which is the much more playable, fun version. Yeah, really impressed actually. I think the Evercade VS could be something really special. I have heard negative things about Blaze, the company, and the way they handle their customer service. And there were a few issues with the Evercade handheld. So I've got to be honest, that gives me caution. But, you know, we'll wait and see. Hopefully it won't be that bad with the VS. They'll get it spot on. And I don't know how widespread the issues have been, because I've not been following the system. But yeah, if you've got an Evercade, what do you think of it? Let me know in the comments. What do you think of the VS? Are you interested at all? If you're an Evercade owner, or if you're not an Evercade owner and you've just found out about it by watching this video, check out the trailer on Evercade's YouTube channel, link down below, and let me know what you think, because I think it's pretty cool. The only thing I would say that I don't think is right is that you don't get a plug. That's some bullshit. I'm sick of companies doing that. And they always say, oh, it's cost saving. I understand if you're selling like millions of units, it's cost saving, but come on, a plug. It just seems a bit silly to me, because it's a USB plug as well, so we should be okay, I would assume, because as long as you buy it from a reputable place, you won't have an issue. But I never understand the logic of doing that from a business standpoint, because if someone buys a shady plug and it blows the machine up, it ain't going to be covered in the warranty, is it? Because they're going to have some kind of legal jargon in the terms and conditions to cover their arse on that one. And I just think it's not worth the aggravation of having all those people going online or on social media and talking shit about your company because they bought the wrong plug and blew the console up and you won't help them. So yeah, I hope that's not an issue, and I hope it's just simple. You just buy a plug and it works. But yeah, very interesting. It's nice to see that now we're finally getting good quality, simple plug and play systems that we can do classic retro games, and there's nothing shady. It's all legit and all licensed. So I'm very happy about this, and it's going to complement my Amico very nicely, because on Amico I'll have modern day versions of retro games with completely brand new graphics and music and extra levels and bonus features and all that. But then I can also go back and just play the original. So pretty sweet actually. Anyway guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of the Evercade VS? Thank you very much for watching, as always, really appreciate it, and I look forward to your comments, and thanks for sticking with the channel guys. See you later.